Hello, hello. Yay. We're here. Oh, yes. Yes, we're live. I'm early. I missed you guys too. Hey, Joe. Um, yeah, we're at a different time. Oh, yes, please. Uh, all right. So yeah, thank you, Glenn. I forgot to announce it in the Binja Slack of all places. So I guess they get the tweets, so they would have seen it there. But we'll see if you can do that while I'm here. So yeah, hey, it's been a really long time, everybody. If you can tell, I'm in a hotel in Atlanta. Actually, this week or this weekend, I'm at Jordan Con, which is going to get blurred out, which is not a convention for Jordans, but a convention about the Wheel of Time from Robert Jordan. So, yeah, good to be back. It's been over 2 months, which is crazy. We've had just a bunch of stuff going on. I'm actually controlling my scenes with a Flipper Zero, believe it or not. So I've literally got a Flipper Zero plugged into my like little mini NUC as a keyboard input. Hey Josh. Um, and so I can literally do scene selection, like do up down arrow keys on scenes with like the Flipper Zero on a keyboard emulation, USB keyboard emulation. So it's a little wild and crazy. We're making it happen. But actually, yeah, like in general, I think it's yeah, I got stuff up and going. So I was a little worried that we'd have some major problem, but other than the fact that you saw the countdown is really janky. At least I added music, so it's not just the text. So there's a little music in the countdown and the outro. And I just ran into this one, which when I was installing one of the plugins, the Binja Python version, I think doesn't work, so I got to switch around. So we'll make it work. We're here, and yeah, we're gonna keep going. So let's see, what do we got to do first? Yeah, we got a bunch of stuff. First, let us go through. Let's like just look through kind of the commits. I mean, obviously the biggest one was 4.0, right? So we launched 4.0 after the last stream, I think. And actually, when was the 4.0 release? Was, yeah, just a couple weeks after several weeks after the last stream. So we had like most of the features, but then we did all of our testing, got the release out. So oh, we did our survey as well, and the survey results. Hey, Jonathan, thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm literally like, scrambling to make it happen, but I missed it too. It's been a while. So and feel free interrupt with any questions y'all have. If you don't know my style, I love to get interruptions. So we just closed our survey actually. So we had the Binary Ninja survey, and we'll probably do like a summary of the results. We'll like to pull out some stats and tell people kind of what we did, like in a blog post coming up. We're already kind of like digging into it. There was about 440 responses, I think, to the survey in the 2 week window. And we had about, I think, 380 or so that were eligible for the prizes. So if you want to calculate your odds, right, there's like 6 prizes. So if you're one of the people that did that, then keep an eye out. You can actually check already. So we are contacting winners now and letting them know that they won and which order they were in, because we basically use random.org, and it's we upload all of our list of participants, and then we say like give us 6 winners, and it will give us an order list of 6 winners. So we've done that here, so you can actually put in your email address that you used in the also, let me know if that font is too small, or if this is visible too. I've like aspect ratio stuff is a little changed, and we're down from 1080p. I was doing the 1440 streams before, but with this setup, 1080 was just easier for my portable monitor. So anyway, what else? Yeah. So if you submitted to the survey, you can actually put your email right in here, and it will literally tell you if you were selected or not. Like it does the drawing for us, and so it's like this verifiable third party thing when you're on drawings. So it's a cool idea. Somebody suggested it a little while ago, and we did that last year as well. I guess, okay, 367, not 387. So there's 367 total winners. Oh, that's right. A couple of people had like, yes, they were eligible, but then they didn't leave an email address. So I guess they were like, they're not wrong. They were eligible. They just didn't really want to be entered for a prize. And I think even a few people said like, give my prize to somebody else if I win. We'll still probably contact you and let you know you won. Because I wasn't going to go through and read all 367 like responses to verify that. So you can always let us know if you won, if we want to give it to somebody else or donate it to something or whatever you want to do with it. So you can check that out there. Right. So there's been a lot of like AI plugins and stuff lately, right? In this stream, we're going to check out Reverser AI. We've got Dixie, and of course we've had other plugins like the OpenAI GPT-3 integration from a while ago. Used Sidekick before. I'll kind of be going over a lot of the features of it again because Uh-oh. Are you guys getting glitches on my stream? Somebody reported red, actually. Hold on. Let me check my settings here. All right, let's see if this is any better. Yeah, I don't think this is... What am I connected to, though? I'm not even sure what Wi-Fi I'm connected to. How are we going here? All right, well, I've switched networks. Okay. All right, thank you for letting me know. Yeah, the audio's come through. All right, I just switched networks, but I still see a ton of drop packets, unfortunately. All right, let's see if this does a little bit better. I'm still seeing frame drops. I don't know why I would be though. This one should have tons of bandwidth. Yeah, no, it does make sense to pay for all of them. I totally get that. There's a couple of ways you can get around that. Yeah, I'm looking like I still see a ton of frame drops, so I don't know if my audio is coming through or not. But unfortunately, wow, that's a bummer. The network was great right up until it wasn't. I suspect there's some sort of like metering going on, and the Wi-Fi was happy to let me go for a while, and then once I hit some sort of limit, it did it. Let me try one. Okay, there's one more thing. I can switch my phone to a different Wi-Fi network, and then try to tether it off of that. Yeah, actually, Ethernet's not a bad idea. I don't. Is there one here? I think that's a regular telephone. I don't think that's Ethernet, but let me check. Good suggestion. Sometimes. Oh no. And if I have to use this port too, it might be a little bit of a stretch because it's like in the middle of the wall, and I have to move the. Yeah, no, that's just a telephone plug. That's not a Cat 5 or RJ whatever RJ45. It's a. Oh, was that the problem? Actually, I think I know what the bug was. All right, no drops at all now. Now we're good. All right, let me know. I think we're gonna leave the camera off. I think I know what the problem was, and I think we're gonna be good to go without the camera. So let me know if y'all can hear me. See my cursor moving. The real question is, I did still decrease the video bit rate. So if the video is too hard to see at this resolution, I'm gonna have to crank that back up. But I don't see any drops right now. So let me see if it's coming through. Yeah, let's see how the audio and video is coming through. Cursor moving okay. Good. Hey, there we go. Okay, good. Yeah, I see no drop frames. All right. Oof. Okay, so what happened, I think, by the way, hotel Wi-Fi is good, and I had tested it earlier, but what happened is that the phone being tethered was actually showing up as a hotspot. Oh, let me restart the recording. Hold on, I had to kill that when I changed the frame rate. All right, so recording's going again. Yeah, the recording should be good here. Okay, sweet. All right, so yeah, the problem is actually my phone was actually becoming the primary, and so it was routing through my phone tethered. And at one point, actually, it was routing it through phone via the wired cable, but like the bit rate was awful, which is weird because usually like hotspot's fine. Anyway, all right, so I think we're good now. Disaster averted. There was somebody in the public Slack that mentioned that it was they had a problem too. Uh, Glenn, if you don't mind pinging them, letting them know that we're back. We should be good now. You just don't get to see my messy hotel room or my pretty face. Uh, so, um, right. So somebody even pointed out, they were saying earlier, like the yeah, AI is neat, but like, these are all expensive, and I totally agree. So like, Sidekick itself actually has um, a non-commercial version, but even that is it's not like not trivial. Although it is funny, we actually had somebody be like, "Oh, thank you for making the pricing good for non-commercial users." So it'd be very different depending on your region and uh, currency exchange and where you're at. So we totally get that it doesn't work for everybody. However, a bunch of the features that we're going to show off actually work just fine even without the service, at least as far as the Sidekick side. And depending on what kind of hardware you have. You can use Mr. Fraser's Tim's Reverser AI plugin. So Reverser AI will use a local model. So you can actually use Olama, although um, there's a bug here that I got to fix. We might try to fix that later on stream. But so Sidekick is actually just announced on our blog. So if you want to go check out the Binary Ninja blog, doo, doo, doo. You can read a lot more about it. But it's essentially our first party like AI plugin. But you don't even have to have all of the AI services for it to work. So you can just install Sidekick in Binary Ninja, and some of these features are going to work fine even without it. In fact, if you go to the Sidekick website itself and go to documentation under the user guide, I think it's here. Yeah. So this text here is really good. Or no, here, this table here. This will describe which features that are in the product require access to the service and which don't. So it'll give you a sense for what you get. Um, all right. Well, Pino, we'll try to convince you to switch then. If you're used to IDA, there's definitely some fun stuff that Binja could do. I mean, IDA does obviously some other things better too. But there's a lot of really nice stuff. We're closing that gap pretty quickly. So let's actually take a look at. So I've been using this one. Let's do actually. And is it pronounced Pinil, by the way? Is that P-nil? Um, Found like I have to say it very carefully. Yeah, some of the tools use OpenAI. Some of the tools use like the Olama Reverser AI plugin here. This one uses a local model that you can download, but it does require like basically a Mac with Apple Silicon because their hardware is required to do the inference on the models. I think right now, I think that's the case. Does he have it working in? Let's see here. Um, Hardware requirements. Okay, no, it's not necessarily. It runs especially, yeah, well on Apple Silicon devices. But basically, a good machine can run it locally. So this one is meant to work offline. The Binary Ninja Sidekick plugin, one thing I did before the stream started is I put in like an API key. So I do have like the paid service here, and it uses a, a bunch of different models. There's actually we use permanently null. Okay, all right, P-nil. Yeah, it's well the caps N helps. I feel like if it was lowercase, it would be a little bit harder to see. So Reverser AI, like I said, I think I can switch Python versions later. So when I'm playing with that later, we'll try it out and I can install that to get it working. I already have gotten it working once, but this is a fresh account set up just for the stream, so we might have to play with that again. But in the meantime, so yeah, Sidekick, like I said, got updated. We just announced the blog post with more details on everything it's doing. There's a bunch of, let me hide these. Um, yeah, it does things like name stuff, create structures, answer questions interactively. Um, the investigations is a new view that I actually haven't tried now. So I'm actually really curious to try that on something. Um, But I think the first ones are, yeah, like vulnerabilities specifically. So I need to find a good thing with a vulnerability into it. I also want to try out some other random bits of malware. So if yeah, thanks. Yeah, so Brian is one of the main devs on Sidekick. So he can certainly explain things. And in fact, he'll catch my errors when I say something that's wrong. He'll he'll correct me hopefully. But yeah, if anybody in chat actually has like a malware hash from something that like in a public malware archive that, oh, do I have, let's see. Yeah, I need to install wormhole. Pip 3 install magic wormhole. I can use this to um, download some samples into here. Yay. Um, all right. So yeah, there we go. So if you have a good bit of malware sample, you're welcome to throw a hash in, and we can take a look at it. I think we've got some stuff from Flare. Did I put any malware hashes in here? Yeah, I do have some in here. I don't remember if these are the ones I used before, um, but uh, this is, let's actually see what this one is. Um, so some of the stuff I'm doing just for reference, if you're new to Binary Ninja, is a little bit different. Like this server here, I'm actually connected to an enterprise server, so you might not have that view. But this is also the project view. You can create local projects in Binary Ninja. This one just happens to be one on the enterprise server that I'm connected to back at the office. But like so like this file, for example, it's like search this hash and see where the sample comes from. Why did that get escaped? That was weird. Um, no, can you just search for hash? I should probably go right to like virus total and search for it. Um, what's the other one? Malware Bazaar. Yeah, there's a couple other ones. All right, search. Um, sure, Chrome, go ahead. So VT, oh, wait a minute. That's interesting. What file did I get? Okay, so here's another little fun thing. Uh, so here's a good little example where I'm going to make a SHA-256. I probably could just do this in the command line probably faster, but that's all right, like showing off the Binja APIs. So it's basically going to pull all the bytes in the file and give me okay, SHA-256 hash. Let's try that and see if ours still has that in there. There we go. Okay. Distributed by Apple Offensive Security and others. Oh, so this is not actually malware. I don't know what this file is, but it's not malware. So it's got a hash name on it, so that's probably a poor choice. I should probably not do that. I should look for something that's some malware samples. Actually, you know what? I think some of them you can look at recent files. I am not a robot. The problem is I have my logins on another machine. So we'll see. Okay. Agent test. Yeah, this is cool. Find something with some tags. G cleaner. I don't remember if you have to have a login to Malware Bazaar. Yeah, you do. I've got a login. I might have to do that off stream. Let me see. Actually, Glenn, if you're still watching, this would be super nice. Do you mind just throwing? Oh, yeah, good point. Thank you, Glenn. Yeah. If you're still watching the Glenn, do you mind? I mean, obviously, you just said that, so I don't know how long my delay is, but yes. Do you mind grabbing, like, going to Malware Bazaar and grabbing one of the, just grab a couple like recent samples from here. If you have a login, I think our sign-up's free. Like, I have a login, but I don't remember if I think you do because you were testing that plugin a while. If not, let me know internally. Oh, can I hit the download button from here without login? Oh, let's go. Good call, Josh. Easy. Easy. Perfect. All right. Cool. Yeah. So okay. The other thing Glenn was pointing out, Josh pointed out the sample download. But the other thing is that you can go to the triage view, which is actually really nice. So if we're going to be diving into some malware, the triage view here actually has a bunch of these stats. So I could have just one-click copied the SHA-256 hash right from there, and then got that out. So although, wait a minute. Now that's weird. Oh, I wonder if, is that the database or that's a little strange. So the SHA-256 on this, I wonder if this is showing, this is something we should double check. Let me try a test. I'm getting nerd snipe, but I'm gonna do it. Um, so here's a file that has a known SHA sum of 78. Right, so if I open it in Binja, that matches. But now if I save a BNDB for it, and then if I reopen the BNDB, go back to triage view, it's correct. Okay, so I'm confused now. So why am I seeing A19, but this one I was seeing E3? They're both SHA-256, SHA-256. Okay, I'm not sure what I'm doing there, but yeah, I do. Oh, thank you. Oh, yeah, that'll give me the correct one. So this one was the right one. But then hold on, the crazy thing is searching for that found it though? How did Okay. Is that a No, it is. Oh yeah, look at that. Android ARMS. This is totally just bogus. Look at this virus total's like hallucinating something. There's no way this hash for like a mapped binary view. Yeah. So this was just bogus and wrong. And I have no idea what this is. That's really funny. Okay. Well, I don't know what caused that, but uh that's hilarious. Wait, is there a hash collision? No, there's no way, right? Oh, no, no, no. 0 bytes. Hold on. Aha. There we go. Yeah. Yep. Josh got it too. I'm a little slow. I do need that I need to move my my chat screen a little closer. Okay. So I got there eventually. That's funny. All right. All right. You know what? I feel like that's a funny trivia question too. Like make somebody recognize that hash. And actually when you just Google it, do you get Yeah, like if and one of these probably explains what it is, but it's not. Oh, there we go. Top tip. Yeah. Yeah, there's one. Okay. Wait, the Register? The Register tweeted this in 2016. Totally legit sample. All right. All right. So I'm done with that one. That's hilarious. All right. So back to serious business. So we've got a sample, like a real sample now, and not that other. Oh yeah, the other file was a real one too, apparently. But I'm gonna open up the one I just downloaded. And again, if anybody in chat has one that they would like to see me fumble on, because I will. But I kind of like doing some stuff live. Okay, so this one, wait, are there actual PDBs in this though? So this one was from my back button. Oh, that's right, I haven't set up my mouse back button. And also let me know how the audio is, if it's too crazy palm. One day. Uh, yeah, this one is, wait, where'd it go? Oh, I went back too far. It's really slow loading it. Okay, so this one is the G cleaner sample. Let's take a look at the summary of it. I mean, it is supposedly malicious. Oh, is the 0 by file. I just finally got that joke. Is the 0 by file malicious? Yeah, what did VT say on that? Okay, so here's a bunch of random things as a sample. Let's see what we can do in this particular file. So first, let's just like do the lazy way and look at like some strings, see everything obvious. Interesting. Are these obfuscated or kind of looks like it, but like with like a a, a shift or substitution or something. So one fun thing in Binja that I really like to do is you can just select a range of bytes. Like here's all these strings here. And if we see any code cross references to them, they'll actually show up here. Oh, these are resources. Never mind. So yeah, they're not going to show up loaded via that, right? Because the resources are going to get loaded via resource API calls. Yeah, okay. So that's not going to show up for those. Also, this has, okay, a bunch of, I think if I file back to only mode, yeah. Sometimes that's a nice setting you can turn on because like the sample has like a big range of memory allocated where it's gonna like extract itself. So this generally looks like real code. This is, yeah, some other strings, permission denied. Yeah, so here's a good example. I can just select a whole ton of stuff and you can get cross-references to code for all of those things. So that's a really nice feature. Ooh, my mouse is still spinning, sorry. Free spin wheel. So that's a really nice feature. But these are not showing up, but these also just look like generic strings from some library that's statically compiled into it. So yeah, so turning on file back to only mode really shows us more of the structure of it. So all of our imports. Oh, wait a minute. Dinkumware. Doesn't that mean, isn't that they may have also just copied that too. Isn't that like the zip? No, that's right. This is a standard C++ library. I know there's a couple, yeah. Interesting. Okay, so that's just a C++, a paid C++ library. Probably compiled in there. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, so this is some of their methods like the atan square root. That's not C++ though, it's just a C library. Valgrind, welcome. I'm a little early today, but good to see you. So yeah, Pnell, the joke on Crazy Bomb is for at least what, 3 years now, I've been teasing Fox that well, so it started because we actually was a request to do Crazy Bomb, and we actually did the first half of it. It's an old CTF challenge, like Crack Me reverse engineering style challenge, and we worked on it for a little while, and then I've just not brought it up again. Although it is actually in here, you'll notice. I think this is the actual file. We did find it. So this is the myth, the legend, Crazy Bomb. Yeah, here's the file. So at some point, we'll actually do Crazy Bomb again. But I mean, we could see what Sidekick can do on Crazy Bomb. I'm kind of all over on the map today. Yeah, like we could try it on this. So this one actually had like a staged. There was a simple decryption loop, if I recall, where you ran it and it would decrypt itself. It's literally been so long that I don't know. This is weird. Why are these all doing the same thing? Yeah, I don't remember the oh, so there's the congratulations string. There's no cross references to that. Oh no, there's several different ones. Bomb, terminal stage. Yeah, I remember at one point there was like this simple XOR thing. Actually, I don't want to split that way. I'll split that way. It's file byte only. It doesn't really matter. We're gonna hide it. This one. In case I'm missing something in the decompilation, let's do a side by side on that just to see. Okay, here. So we're just yeah. So is that the decryption loop? I thought it was something else, but that might be it. Yeah, that kind of looks like that was the decryption loop. So let's actually here. See, I said I wasn't going to do it, but yeah, PNL this stream is about a whole bunch of stuff. Right now, it's about me just getting nerd sniped and just kind of hanging out and getting. It's been so long since I've streamed that I've forgotten my routine. But there's a bunch of stuff in Binja that's happened. A bunch of plugins that have been released. There's I think is that it? That's the main things. Just covering everything basically that we um, haven't done in a while. So um, right now, I kind of want to start using the Sidekick plugin to ask it like what this function is doing, or what's this like this little bit of code is doing. So let's try that. So one of the first things it's gonna do is like the suggestions box is just gonna like name things. I could call this function input prompt. Yeah, so it's printing and then get line. Yeah, so that makes sense. That's fair. It's weird that it put it like in brackets. I don't know why it decided to do that, but it looks like a good name. So now it wants to name. Okay, yeah, name some variables. Yep, let's do all those. Decompile code, prompt, and compare user inputs. Sure. That's pretty fast. The stuff is coming back really, really quick. But we can also, let me actually change the layout here a little bit. Let's make this a little wider. And let's bring up the assistant. Oh, it's been renamed. All right, there we go. So can I say, I think I can do things like, okay, so can I ask it, what input, how can I calculate the inputs? Yeah, thanks BK for adding more context as I just kind of click around and do stuff. So there's a couple different features that I'm leveraging here, right? The suggestions is just as I click around, it's like, hey, I want to do a thing, I want to do a thing. And it's offering to like name things and provide, for variables, for functions. But then I can also more interactively ask it to do something like, how can I calculate the input? Succeeds, checks in this function. So it doesn't actually, see, Kirkar, old mem index is, where was the stir and compare? Okay, yeah, so this is like, right, is valid or something here. And if, oh, well, they're actually reusing it, so I think I should probably split the variable here. Let's see, I haven't done this in a while, so split variable, not a definition, oh, here. So this one split variable here. I might be doing the wrong thing, let's try it. I think that actually is, I know that wasn't the right one, let's undo that. Oh, that's just the password, right? So I can hit this and like hit A, for example, turn to a string, or I can just select a bunch of the stuff and hit A to turn them into strings if they're not already identified. So there's like, no, that was like a password phase. Yeah, I think maybe, oh, that's right. There were a couple different phases. So this is just the password check actually. So let's see what it does. Okay, so in the amount of time, okay. All right, it's stored there. Does it get the, yeah. So one of the things you can do, as BK mentioned, is if I go to my settings, I was freaking out for a second. I forgot we had made that change to hide that. So, right, you can actually have the dwell time, I forget the suggestions. Yeah, so right now if you sit for any place for 1 second, but if you don't want to, if you want it to be more manual, just make it 0 and it will never auto suggest anymore, right? So now if I go to a different function, sit here, oh, wait, it's not supposed to do anything. Did I not save my setting? Oh no. What happened? Uh-oh, BK, did I find a bug? I mean, I could also just make it something really large, or is that the largest it can be? I wonder if this is like a floating point value now, and it's comparing it to, now it should still, I don't know, that's weird. Maybe I have to restart. Okay, hold on, let me try it back to 0. And let me, let's save the database, close, then reopen. So now if that may have just been a setting that needs to be, yeah, so let's just accept all those. But now if I go here, input prompt. Okay, that's all it was. Yeah, just reopening the tab was all it took. I had to reload the tab. I didn't even have to restart Binja as a whole. All right. Yeah, P&L, it's a little bit of both. It depends. Sometimes I'll do plugin writing. Sometimes I'll actually try to manually reverse something. Sometimes I'm just showing off features. Usually it's kind of a mixture of all that. And like I said, today's kind of been a little bit crazier than normal given the stream trouble. And so, okay. So, but let's actually find, let's go back to, I don't know if Crazy Bomb is necessarily the best one to do. So let's actually go back to our, is it over here? Yeah, this sample. And let's look for something that we want to understand. I'm trying to think of a good way to find a candidate. I could go back to that one. I think yeah, Glenn pointed out earlier, this one is actually something. Let me go Malware Bazaar as well. Do I have to type SHA? I think I might have to. Yeah. SHA-256 there. Okay, there we go. All right, so this is Whispergate Wiper. Yeah, so this one is actually a wiper. Oh, yeah. I remember I was looking at this one. Okay, it was the one that was reported to be malware targeting Ukraine from a couple of different folks. So it's a disk wiper. So we would see we'd see it like deleting files. And actually, let's see here. I like the feature map in particular. Yeah, so I feel like it's nice to have one for a lot of them. So, oh, it's like a fake ransomware, right? So we can see, yeah, there's not a whole lot to it. There's just these strings. This is a really small file. Yeah, how big is this? Actually, I kind of want that to be in decimal size. So I'll make a note here. Yeah, I almost never want the size in hex. So I feel like that one should actually be decimal. Um, so we could, not critical section, where is it? I wonder if, actually, it's not delete critical section, is it? So here's a good thing. Let's just ask it. I guess it could be a wiper just by encrypting them in place too. If it's pretending to be ransomware that just doesn't have a key. Yeah, I didn't think it is. Yeah, it has nothing to do with like file deletion. So there's no actual file deletion. So it's a wiper in the sense that it just like encrypts and writes your files, but it doesn't actually. Uh, yeah, it doesn't actually. I could even ask it. Um, Wonder if actually I don't know if I can actually read imports like this. Let's see. Um, it's a good. Although again, this is also a spot where we can select a bunch of things if we wanted, and then see other cross references to all of them. I do like that feature a lot. But let's look for. All right, so this is startup. Let's look for something. Oh, I wonder where it encrypts the files. If there is anything useful there. Okay, all right. So find next file. How many times do we call that? This is the only place we call find next file. And this one. So this is just gonna, yeah, so this is gonna be used to walk different files. All right, so we're calling it twice. Um, what else is this thing doing? Actually, let's try. Let's go back to suggestions. Let's do this. I want suggestions here. So I can manually trigger it and say, make suggestions for this. Um, and there's even like hotkeys, I think, for these. Let's see. Um, I forget there's a plugins, Sidekick. Yeah, there we go. So F10 is make suggestions and F12 is accept them. So if I have, um, I can just kind of like hit F10, F12 and look at the results real quick. All right, so we're gonna get some named variables. Let's try this. All right. Yeah, because see what this is doing is it already is going to pull out the fields and properties like for these known structures, and then it's going to clean these up a ton. So file handle, file info struct. Yeah, that's oh, find and store file information. Sure. Okay. Um, what do we actually? Yeah, so it's just setting the file attributes based on the files that it's entering over. All right, so this is not super interesting of itself. Where is it calling? Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah. If it's just going to act on the MBR, then honestly, a lot of this might even be like bogus, um, like not even real. And let's see, yeah, but we should be able to close. That's interesting. This is just getting us the file name, so we're just scanning for file names from a file info object. So here's where all the real object logic is. Let's see where are my hotkeys. So first it can make some structures, name the functions that it calls. All right. Yeah, it kind of does a bottom up here, but the difference is it's like where I'm selecting it. So this is a pretty good size function. Okay, what is it scanning for here? So like, right, these are like characters, I think, or well, I guess that's right. 7F is not actually ASCII, but it's the end of the ASCII printables maybe. 2C is a comma. Um, 70, no, maybe not. I think those are more likely to be, I don't think it's necessarily ASCII, right? Because 7F, 7D, like that's not actually printable, so it's more likely it's just a byte value. Let's see. Copy memory blocks. Interesting. Yeah, okay. So that's nice. It already like named that as one of the like the children functions. Um, let's ask for some more suggestions. Yeah, it's actually naming a whole bunch of these functions, which is nice because I can just kind of ignore them. It's just doing like array access stuff, right? So it's kind of summarizing that for me. Parse and compare characters. Is that the one? That's not the one I was looking at before. Okay. Yeah, what's 2A? It's a star? Yeah, but the 7F still like gets me unless it's like a terminator in some sort of encrypted field. Does it have any other data? So there's all of that stuff, yeah. So let's see if there's any obviously like pieces of this that are gonna get decrypted. Try not to get too bogged down in it, but I also like all right, so what do we have here? Oh, exception handling for okay, so probably not. Right, data. So here's where it gets the MBR. Yeah, like that's definitely sus, right? So, um, oh, I mean, okay, there's your wiper code. Okay, so let's see what the assistant says about this, right? Like this is literally just the wiper. When you see like it's accessing the physical drive, it's getting a handle, and then it like is gonna write directly to. Let's see. I wonder what that add desired access actually is. This. So create file W. Second parameter. Oh, desired access is not. Oh, that's actually a good question for it. So the type libraries for create file W. I wonder what like MSDN say. Let's try this. Make sure I'm not missing any. I think Peanut. I'll let Brian answer because he's the real expert. But rainbow tables are more efficient to walk after the fact. Large language models, even afterwards, there's like the training, then there's the inference stage. Even just using them requires a decent CPU, GPU, like a fair amount of compute, right? So, um, like the amount of hardware like in a modern Apple Silicon box, right, is actually pretty beefy to be able to do some of the inference and like the even in that O Llama um, plugin that lets you run kind of your own model locally. So it's a very large model that was trained on a super expensive, pricey set of infrastructure. Took a lot of compute to do, but even then drawing inferences out of it to give it all the context and ask it for the answer back. This one is Apple Silicon, like it's the ARM ones, and they're like bonkers good. Um, so yeah, so Pinot, like the idea is that you first like give the entire internet or like a large massive amount of things, and it essentially gets compressed down, right? You can think of it as compression, except it's not compressing it like normally. It's a very lossy compression, and it's really just about establishing relationships. Yeah, exactly, Valgrind. It's a great analogy, right? Many A100s died or were worked to death, right? Like massive, really expensive GPUs had to like do the compression portion where they tried to find the relationships between all of the different words, essentially, and concepts and thoughts, and like all this stuff gets compressed down. And then it's then on your box, what you're only doing is given a sequence of like inputs. You're trying to get it to predict the next token, right? And so you do that with like prompting. That's why you give them like text prompts. Like you're not programming a language model a lot of the time by like code, but you're actually giving it English because it was trained on English. That's like how it like what it represents is it represents just a whole bunch of language and code as well. But even code is really language, right? In a lot of respects, it was all like fed into it, and so it's like predicting like next tokens. So hopefully that's um, I mean, we are Pinot actually. Yeah, like if you have a recent MacBook, it can run it pretty well. Um, but like you can run. So if the LLM is already generated, there are a lot of different models that you can run on like commodity hardware. They're not as good as the one that runs on the servers yet, but there are a lot of them. In fact, that's several of the plugins that we're looking at. So okay, well I think we found the wiper. So let's actually see what it's told us about this. Um, let's see if we can tease it out. Like ask a little bit more, like what does this mean? It says it's writing directly to the physical hard drive. So like what's the implication of that? Can it actually understand that like this is going to overwrite the MBR? Or do I have to like give it more hints? Okay. Yeah. All right, so it gets it. Okay. That's also, yeah, that's also true. Also true. Okay. So these are all true things. It's a little wordier than I would have liked, but this is absolutely like it understands, which is a scary thing to say, but right? Like it absolutely um, gets that this is like bad and what this is doing. So it's able to do that. I'm trying to think of, let me start an investigation. So this is actually new to me. So I might have to rely on BK to, although I think these are more, yeah, so okay, right now they're more um, vulnerability based. So I should probably not do any of that here. BK, if you have binaries that you guys have been testing on this that you want to put into one of these um, projects on the enterprise server, I can pull it down and we can test it out. But I don't want to test it on something just kind of random because it's not like most things I have sitting around are not going to have any of these vulnerabilities offhand. I guess I could write something real quick. Oh, does Lattice GPT actually have one of these? All right, let's do it. So like that has been, nope, we're gonna open a clean, fresh version of this file. And actually I'm gonna go ahead and delete all of my, let's delete these. And then let's save BNDB. So we saved our initial analysis and now we'll start doing some Sidekick related stuff here. So, all right, like investigations, wrong one. So investigations, if I had to guess, it's a web server. I mean, does it have any command injection bugs? Probably not, but maybe. What does the investigation do? Let's try this. And so the other thing I do know, so it's investigating main. Yeah, so it's looking at this particular function. So actually, let's do this then. Let's first use an index. And do we have any? Let's see what indexes we have. Do we have any for like execution? File IO might get it. Let's try a file IO index. So indexes are Sidekick basically having code, some of which again doesn't require even like the machine learning models, and some of which do, to scan for a bunch of points of interest in the file. And so file IO here. Let's add that one, and let's do a new one. Oh, high level functions. Yeah, I mean, I could just start with these and see if each of these have it. So I could do that. And actually, let's do this. Let's feature map. Let's bring our investigation over here. All right, and let's shake this up. Normally, I'd have a little bit more screen real estate, but make do on a small streaming display. So oh yeah, like a config parser. I could try that for command injection. Is there, okay, viewing and editing. All right, so there's a way to like, yeah, so this is like report writing. So there used to be like a documentation feature, which I think is the idea. All right, so I've got high-level IO functions. I can go through each one of these because these are functions that call a lot of other functions or have a lot of like complexity in them. And so I could trigger the investigation on one of these. Let's try that. I am getting some errors. Are these on my side or are these? Uh-oh. Does that mean that may have been something I did with something in Sidekick? That's unfortunate. I don't know what that one is. Okay, we'll investigate that later. Added documentation tag. Oh, okay, cool. So it did just do that. So, no, active suggestions, investigation. Was this the one I was on? No. Let's actually just close this down so I don't get confused. All right. No. All right. Well, I like when it says no because AIs have a habit of like making stuff up. Okay, cool. That one looks good. Yeah, I'll send you a copy of those later. Um, so I've got the high level functions. Can I? So now I could just go through each of these and investigate. So now if I go back, yeah, the investigation stays, right? So this is also kind of like a notebook where like any changes I made. And again, this like notebook part of it, right? And turning it into like Markdown and like using it as a notebook where it's saved per function, that doesn't need any of the um, Sidekick account. It's let's see, config parser. So I wonder if I can just ask it. Let's actually show something else. Let's show an index. And let's make a new one. Um, for execute, find function calls that execute a process, like fork or exec or system. Now, I don't want fork, I just want exec or system. Okay. Yeah, no, that's fair. There's a lot of ways they can go wrong. Um, I think I've got some like which I did something I may have actually had to do with having multiple things up at the same time. So I might actually just save my database and reload it here in a second. But um, do I have other? Okay, I think that's it, right? And now I have this one too. Okay. All right. So okay. No, is that? Oh, I do. I had this other dialogue up on the other window. That's what happened. That's probably what caused this. So let me actually close it out. I'm actually doing anything with that. And now, um, did I? Yeah, I think that was the problem before. Okay, so let's save our database here. And there's actually a nice restart and reopen, which I like. Oh, I should have done a longer checkout. Prevent that dialog from showing up again. Okay. All right, so we're back here, and now we've got. Now I'll make a new index. All right, so let's create one. Now. Actually, I just really want to find system calls, right? Like if I'm actually looking for command injection, but let's see what it writes. So we're asking it to write some code for us, and then the code could generate some of these points of interest, and then we could basically use those to do this sort of investigations and ask it to like identify if it thinks any of them are vulnerable to command injection. Also, BK, let me know if there's a different. Oh, null pointer. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so 11,480 is something we can look at, but it's a little bit cheaty, right? If we already know it. So I'm curious. Um, Now, actually, let me go back. If that's one of the ones in the high level or high level functions, I might just cancel this. The risk of, I don't think you can do it here. Oh, you can. Good. Cool. Oh, it actually gave me the result of what it had so far. That's cool. That's fine. We don't need the whole thing. We're gonna go back to high level functions. Yeah. Okay. So there we go. So this is one of our like high level functions. And there's a null. Yeah, there's already like a log assert on like an allocation fail, like a null. Um, so let's. All right. So let's do this one again. This is one apparently we've already tested on. So it's a little cheaty, but um, it's a real world bug. It's a real sample. And we've already seen it. I did, like I said, that it specifically was like, no, there's no command injection in this other function because it's not, they're very suggestible. And so if you ask it like, show me all the whatevers, it's like, yeah, I see whatevers everywhere. Um, so I like that this is, what is this one? So this being open source, we could actually go and figure out like network.c and go read. All right, several potential, it thinks. Names. Oh, you know what I really want though? I want to be able to click these things. and focus on parts of the file. That would be super nice, but let's see here. So we've got, let's bring variables up over here. Because we've got name. So if name is assigned from dereferencing or x3, so we check if it's null here, but did we not earlier? Oh, there's a bunch of them. Oop, we're too far. Oh, right at the beginning. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so like that one, I think I don't think it can be. Like I think this one is wrong because it's safe, right? It doesn't know that this one actually guards against failing to allocate, and so I think that one I would say is incorrect. But and this one may or may not. We'd have to go look at all the cross references, right? Like we'd have to go find out. If these could ever be null, maybe. PS use an argument to get calls without being checked for null. Now that sounds like they could. So let's ask for, yeah, I mean we could just Google, I'm curious. So if we just Google get address info. Well, where is it? So you can just search for, oh, by the way, if you're familiar with Binja, you might not have seen, but the find dialog box has had some improvements to it. So there's now an advanced binary search, which supports a bunch of stuff which I haven't actually tested. So allow matches to overlap. Oh, okay, right. So if you had a string that before was overlapping, it wouldn't actually show up. And I think there's even, is it regex? There's some other stuff in here that Brian added, and he's actually writing up the documentation separately. But in the meantime, let's just find. Oh, I did do search all, didn't I? I did not get enter info, and I searched for high level IL. That feels like it should have found it. Is it not in here? I know there's a bunch of network code. I would not be surprised. Oh, okay. Struct enter. Yeah, get adder info. Oh, I just spaced at the beginning of it. Is that it? And also I don't want to find all. That's right. Let's just do that to find the next one. Yeah, okay, that would have found it. All right. Yeah. All right, let me go back and actually check up on chat. I'm a little behind. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't automatically name anything. I've been hitting like hotkeys to name things. Like if I saw the suggestions, and you could even like if, for example, if I want to ask for suggestions here, I can request them, and it wants to do these things. I can say, yeah, go ahead and do all those with a hotkey, or I can select individual ones. But if I turn off this and this, and so now if I ask for suggestions, this is a pretty good size function too. So this is like a nice. Yeah, like this is a pretty decent size function. Okay, so it wants to name the callee functions. So this is the only ones you don't get to see the suggestions of, which would actually be kind of nice if it did that. But I think it's because it does them on the fly. But so now all the children function of this that weren't previously named got named, and now we can make more suggestions. And this will be probably the most obvious one, where it'll be a bunch of like, probably it's going to ask for a bunch of names for, yeah, structure members, for example. And like server config, network config, and then there's this field AE in struct2. Which one? AE is the one I want to do. Okay. Wait. Struct2 field AE. There is no field AE. Is there? There's a B4. I'm probably just reading it wrong. Oh, AU, yeah, there's right there. It's right there. Okay, AUB4. Right. So I could pull by cross references. It's getting a little crowded over there. I'll bring it over here. Actually, no, over here. Yeah. So we can go look through each of these cross references and see how they're used. Right. And if we agree or disagree with that, so let's say we don't agree with V6 only, we can clear that one. Right. If we don't like that particular one, but we like all the rest of the names, we can just say, yeah, go ahead and apply them all. So that's like the more like interactive version of doing that. All right. Yeah, you definitely want a bigger monitor if you got or two monitors, and you can make better use of the space here. Otherwise, you're juggling a lot of things. But it is really nice now with the 4.0 changes. You can have the structures, the cross references for structures, investigated. You can have everything kind of laid out however you want it. Yeah, I've actually been using those hotkeys. So I was using F10 and F12, which I have defaults for those for apply and make in the current function. So earlier at one point I went F10, F12, F10, F12 just to like get a whole bunch of markup done really quickly on the malware sample when I was asking it just to mark up some of those things. So I did definitely make use of that. All right. So yeah, but again, the other thing is that I can come in here and actually, you know what, say, I'm going to nuke this. I think that is incorrect, and I'm also not worried about that one. So let's just do this. I think it's Markdown, right? So can I just do one dot? I forget the syntax for Markdown. Yeah, you can just do one dot one dot, and it will fix the lists. So yeah, so like you can use this to keep a report on a function that you're working on, which is kind of nice. Not even really an AI thing, but then when you have the AI like check for stuff. Now, can it append? What if I ask for like here? Will it add to the existing one? I'm curious. I mean, I would not expect any ones here too, and it should be able to tell me that like it did before. It'll go through and be like, yeah, I don't actually see any calls to system, for example. So we'll see what it does, but yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I said, I mean, a couple of the places I think are right, and a couple of them are wrong. Okay, there we go. Nice. So yeah, it just depends on the current one. So now I can. So I'm asking it to like annotate. I think you can also, when I was earlier, let's see. What's a good question? I wonder if it's smart to figure this out. Can it find GitHub or predict GitHub and then suggest that it's network.c and a line number? Yeah, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's see. Uh, this is 1.4 and here. Oh, no, it did it. I think that looks pretty good. Oh, that's cool. Okay. So we got that. Like I probably could have like just, clicked myself the same way, but that's not bad. It's interesting too that when I interrupted it, it gave me like the answer as it had up to that point and it was correct. Or maybe it was just a coincidence, but yeah, so it didn't, I mean, I didn't want it in line. I just wanted to identify that this is logging infrastructure and it knows the line number. And then when it knows where the GitHub URL, like for LightHTTP does, and it actually knows how to, like this URL is what I was looking for. And it absolutely did that. Now, in this case, it's going to be wrong because it's like an older version, so it won't necessarily sync up. So really, I could I could probably prompt it or figure it out. But I guess this is close enough that, might save me a little bit, and then I can, there we go. So I can like put that in here, like right? And so now I can link to it directly, which is nice. So you can put your URLs in your note. That's cool. All right. Turn off cross references. What else we got? Yeah, I've been very distracted, just doing different things, kind of not necessarily in order. So Sidekick suggestions and the new icons are really clean too. I really like those. We've done the assistant. We've tried investigations. Indexes we did a little bit. We didn't let it write anything from scratch, but you can actually ask it to write code for you too. Well, it found the exact line number because of this line right here. Like I kind of knew that was the case because this is an error log, and I knew that this is the case, and I was curious if it figured out, and it did. It identified that yeah, that's like debug logging. It's like an assert, and it's got um, uh, so it's actually giving you the file and the line number. And so, did I even tell it was LightHTTPD or did it? Yeah, okay, I did tell it was LightHTTPD. I probably could one-shot that and have said, "Can you give me a URL to the source code?" Wonder if I could have done that. Um, yeah, and so I think you can also is send a message what I want? No, or where is it? Oh, there we go. That's the other thing you can do. Yeah, okay. So I can like add answers that it's added to me. I can append to the documentation too, right? So you can put that into here, and like I can build my report up with questions and answers, which is kind of nice instead of having to manually copy and paste. And you can just build up the ones I want here, and then edit them after the fact. All right. So I think let's see. Let's go back and look at the blog post because there's actually also videos of all these features being used. Structure recovery is one I kind of glossed over, but I think it's actually super powerful. It's also one that no other RE tool has. There's none of the other ones, because we're basically because LLMs aren't really great at that problem. We have separate analyses we're doing for that. So yeah, suggestions. You can see the videos. You can ask it to comment things. I didn't really do that, but that's fine. The assistant we definitely have used several times, and I like that idea too. Do you want a rough implementation of the current function in Python? Like if you've got like a string decryption loop in a piece of malware, ask it like write me Python that does this, and then pull that out. And then yeah, investigations. Yeah, indexes in the code insight map. I didn't even show that yet, but those are my favorite features. I think people who've been watching the stream before may have seen it, but this is absolutely like top tier. The code insight map and indexes. So like if I add in like several different calls, and you'll notice like some of these, like for example, dynamic allocations. This is just a hard-coded list of like functions, and if it sees cross-references to those, it will add it. No AI whatsoever. But crypto calls, on the other hand, it uses the AI model to like analyze the strings and try to find things that might be related to crypto. Same with like file IO. And memory management, same thing. And you can also just write your own. Like you can add any Python. Like Binja's got a really good API, and so there's a lot of stuff you can do there for writing stuff. So here's all the crypto stuff. But all right, so now I can turn on. Let's turn on crypto and dynamic allocations. Right. So I'm on network init, so I see a lot of crypto, but not a lot of dynamic allocations, which is good. That makes sense. Like you wouldn't want to like do allocations and well, I guess is it network init globally or a hot path? I guess you would have to do some, but so there is in here, but let's turn on file IO. Do we do any file IO here? Yeah, a little bit, but there's, we're closing. That file. So this one strikes me as like something from, probably can just ask the assistant. I should do that with that highlighted in this view. I don't know. Let's find out. And again, I can also, let's just compare it to Googling it. If I Google this, oh, I get open to cell pretty immediately. Yeah, it sees not call, but like the function that this call is in right now. So I could have double clicked it and gone in the function and then asked it that, and it probably would have worked. But in this case, just Googling is faster. So yeah, that one is actually crypto. So that one could go into crypto, but I can also see why it would be in both file and crypto potentially. Actually, it's not, but it could be. Yeah. Um, yeah, this one. So let's actually navigate to another. This is a bigger function. Okay. All right, so there's a bunch of like, yeah. So the config parser, which is interesting, just at a glance, you can already tell the config parser doesn't actually open the config files, which makes sense. It's the parser. It's probably something else that calls it then. Yeah, okay, here we go. Config parse command is actually where we open the file. And then, so what we're missing is like the logic in this function. So we could come here and then switch, or, you know, we could even split it and switch to like linear view. And we could see like, it's not calling this 5 times in a row. These are probably just different code paths, right? Yeah, there's like an if else, and it's gonna do it different analyses in one versus the other. There's actually a fair amount of code there. SD, 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 SB. Very helpful. Very, very helpful. Thank you. Parser failed. Somehow near here. Yeah. So, yeah, that's the config file parsing. Oh, these are interesting. I saw switch statement. Probably just text strings, right? Can I do a range? Ooh, let's ask the assistant a range question. Current location. I don't know if it's getting the range or not. I should just select the top and do that. I'm curious. But these are, so I mean, it's in the config file parsing, so it's, yeah, I'm not sure what that is. Oh, it seems weird to be a single character. Probably. Oh, these are just like, oh yeah, there we go. Okay, so we just did the same thing. What was 7D again? Okay, it's right brace. Yeah, I'd have to go look at the config file syntax, but that makes more sense now. All right, I'm getting very nerd sniped. Yeah, feature request. Hey, Alexian, congrats. Very nice. Now, here's a question. Did you actually go and use that random link to verify it even before you got the email? Or did you just get notified in the email? But yeah, range, okay, new feature request. I want to be able to select a range of things. Although it's the problem is, yeah, I think there's a way to do it, but it's kind of annoying. You can't use the traditional register for range stuff, and it's like you have to use the UI and pull out like the text fields and not like the native addresses and stuff. So you'd have a hard time like sending different because you know the mapping between high and low and it's kind of nonlinear and stuff. Nice. Okay, well congrats. That's cool. Good for you. All right, I'm kind of winding down in energy-wise. Let me make sure. Let's see. The other things I was going to look at on stream before I forget. Okay, yeah, I talked about the find. That was one of the bigger features is the find improvements. Keep an eye on the docs for that. Hopefully we'll get Brian, not Brian Knudsen, but Brian Pochik. We'll push those out. Yeah, yeah. Obviously, like the assistant does better, you know, first by doing a lot of the other naming things, and that's especially true. Like, you know, even this, there is some symbols here, like there's imports that I've got, so it's got those names, and some of these methods even have names that were built into it. But if I would have instead, you know, done a bunch of like that sort of F10, F12 cycle, or ask it to recover things. Even just the decompilation. Watch this alone. Look at all these offsets right here. See these? And I'm asking it to recover structures. So watch it. Watch how much cleaner the decompilation is going to look. I mean, even just to a human, it's going to be better. And then you have it like, name the calling functions. Uh, the console log, crash reports. Oh no. Oh no. All right. I will. I will send this off stream later. Oh, that's a lot of pasting. I think there's there's a literally way just to say this, isn't there? Yeah, that would be way better. Stop wasting time on that. Okay. Reveal and finder. Let's just put it here, and I'll pull it off the box later. I'll send it to BK. You can take a look at it. I don't even know what hotkey. You know what? Problem solved. Kill the tab. Okay, so other things to do. We've talked about some of the history. If anybody in the Vector 35 folks have thought of something I didn't mention, because I was looking through the GitHub repo, and I feel like I was missing, just looking at closed issues, sort by recently updated. Yeah. And then also closed, and I would probably really want to exclude like duplicates and stuff like that, but yeah, I know there were a fair amount of bug fixes actually, and I think that's normal after you do like a big 4.0 release. There's a lot of like bug fixes. Oh, one thing I do want to mention that I think is super exciting is the type archives feature. So there is in 4.0, there is the type viewer has type archives where you can automatically synchronize. You can synchronize types. I was about to say automatically. You can't automatically do that yet. You can synchronize types between um, different databases, right? So if you have the same type share between them, Glenn's actually actively working on making that more automatic. So right now you have to push and pull manually, but the idea is that that should be a little bit easier to do going forward. So he's got some automatic stuff. I'm not sure at this point. Yes, see, Glenn's there. It's coming soon, soon TM. So that'll be sweet. I think that's gonna be a really nice low quality. Like just type archives themselves are amazing and work really, really well, but just making them work smoother, I think is gonna be sweet. So I'm excited about that one as another upcoming change. Let's see, we covered the survey, we covered Sidekick. Yeah, so the other AI, there's a couple other AI plugins. I mentioned Reverser AI. This didn't load. I can try this now. So let me actually just disable Sidekick because what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually change my Python interpreter to a 3.12 version. And I'm going to restart. I could have done this as well before if I would have noticed it, but Sidekick will work fine in 3.9 or 3.12. However, I think it looks like the Reverser AI is a little bit buggy and requires Python 3.12. So this pip install failed. So if you're not familiar with the Binary Ninja plugin manager, when you install a plugin, it will automatically like use pip for whatever version of Python you have installed essentially, and install the dependencies for you, which is super nice. And this one, so yeah, this Reverser AI one. We've already basically done that. Okay, the tool will automatically download. Okay, so it's supposed to run. Okay, cool. Yeah, it was just a Python version. So now if I restart, do I even need to restart? Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Oh, it's still disabled because it was. Oh, well, it shouldn't be hard to reinstall the dependencies when they're already installed. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, I just clicked reinstall instead of enable. I should have just enabled it. It would have forced it to reinstall. Okay. Plugins reverse HI. Yeah, so let's restart and reopen. And we're going to give that one a try too. So yeah, config parser. This is good. Let's ask it for, so yeah, I kind of wanted to actually do the structure recovery in Binja first because this looks way better with structures first, which reverse array I won't do. But let's see. Um, so I thought it had, is it only function names? Okay. So it doesn't do variables or structure members, but let's just say rename all the functions. Hopefully it does them in a row. I can see them come back because if it's just gonna take the whole thing, it'll be a while. I haven't run it on a sample this size. I ran it a while ago. And also, is it, okay. So yeah, it looks like Olama's doing a wow, a thing that's quite the, I can hear my fan spinning up too. So I think it's doing its thing. There was a bug the first time I installed it that I think I fixed upstream in a dependency. A little brittle, but um, once you got it installed, it looks like it does. Unless the first time you run it, it actually downloads the model, so we'll see. Um, the main inspiration behind starting Binja was there really were no other options. Oh, Joe, I'm sorry. We did put it on Twitter, and we did. If you should have gotten the notification from YouTube if you're subscribed there. Did Glenn was going to put it in the Binja Slack? Maybe you put it in a different channel. Oh, I think he put it in. Yeah, he put it in the streams channel on the public Slack. Sorry about that, Joe. Yeah, and we're off times too, right? Obviously, it's earlier than normal because I'm at a hotel. My camera's down from network stuff. Oh, YouTube fail. That's unfortunate. We did have that problem a while ago from a couple folks, but I noticed that if I did it earlier, it got better. That's annoying. Yeah, I wonder if we can, if there's a better way to do notifications. So yeah, well, the good news is you missed all of the drama with the network being completely busted originally. My phone, which I was doing video from, like my face cam was from uh, my phone camera, started routing the network and was way worse. So I don't know. Yeah, I think this was too big of a binary and it's trying to do way too much locally because it's not named anything. Actually, you know what? Hold on, can I just kill this and then just ask it for a single function? Let's try that. Let's just do this single function. Let's let me just quit that. And then I have to kill. Is it still going? From the fans, I'm wondering if, no? Okay, that's good. I think I got it. Yeah, we're good. Okay, so let's launch that back again. Also, remember this time. Keep a license file, so I have to do that. Okay, so let's go to a single function and ask it to rename it. That's a good one. Oh, you know what? That one that we were working at before, we looked for the null ones. This one, yeah, this is a pretty big function. Okay, so this is good. This is like medium size, but it's just that single function. And now let's rename the current function. Let's see how it does. Okay. Let's see how. All right. So we'll let that one go. In the meantime, I'll talk about the some of the other, like I said, there's the ChatGPT one where you put in your own OpenAI key. So it does use the server, but you can use your own key. And it's a bit older and it has, yeah, it just, like, I think does some comments and stuff. I don't think it's as tightly integrated in terms of naming things. The other one that's really interesting is, and I don't have this set up right now, unfortunately, in this box, is Dixie, which if you're doing vulnerability research, is a machine learning model that's specifically tuned for vulnerability research. So it's meant to find vulnerabilities. And so they actually have like their own internal annotated database. So you're not just asking like a large language model. It's just trained to be able to like kind of be generic and recognize lots of stuff. Oh man, a Mac. You know what? I swapped around. Even 2 months ago, I was using the Mac. I switched to I switched to that because it was just faster. I'm like Frenchie, oui. Um, And yeah, I was one of the founders. Myself, Peter, and Rusty are the three co-founders of Vector 35. And it's been 9 years. When we started, there really wasn't any alternative. Geeter wasn't available. Hopper was very, very new and lacked a lot of stuff. And we just sort of felt there was an opportunity to do a couple things better. Our main focus has been our intermediate languages. Like Binary Ninja focuses on, we call it like a stack of intermediate languages. And so you can see. We have not only the disassembly, but then you can have low level IL and then medium level IL and even high level IL, right? And so you can see the same code at these different ILs. And that's actually really useful um, for API and scripting and automation, which was the other big thing we focused on, is that we have a really, really robust, good API. There's a lot of Python documentation. We have APIs in C++, Rust, Python, um, those are all the C, but those are all the official ones. Um, but oh, I mean, I've personally been using a Mac for many years. I really was only using Linux on the stream because I like the window manager, because like Macs have like all this extra stuff. In fact, I really should auto turn hiding on here, right? And then make this bigger. Like I don't like how much wasted space there is in the window managers. Um, and it's kind of a minor thing when it's like, 80 pixels or something, whatever it is. But that was the main reason I was using Linux on the stream previously. I've actually been, yeah, Mac's been my main platform for 15 years now, I think. Um, so more than that, 20 years. Yeah, 20 years now. Yeah, so these ILs, PNIL are, which is funny because PNIL, when I say that, we actually call our IL stack BNIL, BNIL. And there's a whole diagram where we talk about, developer guide. Come on, wake up. There, where there's like the stack of the different ILs, analysis that happens at each one, how they all kind of work and function. You can kind of ignore it, and you can just look at you can say like, just give me the like pseudo C output, right? Like I just want to see what looks like C code. But we have like high level IL, for example, which is actually better in some ways. A good example would be the start along call has the function itself has a name for its parameters, endpointer, and base, right? And so we can see those, and we can see the parameters that are being passed to it. In C, that's not like valid C. So all you would get in C if you did that is just the parameters that were passed, right? So if I switch one of these to C, you would see, right, you just get that. So it's a little more concise, I guess, but like if you don't know the types, it doesn't show it as much. It doesn't show you as much information. It's not as useful. So there's a couple little stuff like that. People on the stream have been here for a while. I've heard me talk about a lot of the differences, and they probably get tired of it. But so the API, the ILs, and even just the UI and the design, like really being thoughtful about the UI and the experience. You notice that when you open Binja up, it's far more minimal and less distracting than every other RE tool out there, which have a million buttons and menus and clicks. And so we work really hard to make it like just easy to use and to get into. So we really have had a lot of success with people who are students and hobbyists as they get into the market, because it's way easier to learn. You can get up to speed and be kind of more effective. Then there's a bunch of other like random things, like our APIs have a bunch of program analysis things that other tools don't, where you can query like value set analysis, and just kind of how we do decompilation. Yeah, exactly. So we try to, Thomas, we try to automatically like propagate names sometimes. So there may be some, like if this was it's like an array, but if there's like a variable passed in, like we do actually propagate the names, and you'll see like both of them are there. And I think it's cool when it does, it doesn't show you both. Like when the tool has come through and said, oh hey, say this wasn't a base of 10, but it was a variable like var under whatever, it would say it would rename base to, it would rename this to base, and it would just collapse it and hide it. So it can actually be really smart about kind of simplifying things. And now, like you said, like in this one, we don't have like a known type. We're not sure what the types are, and so we don't show them, right? So if I actually hit this and hit Y and say, you know, I'm going to call this second one a format string specifier because that seems likely, right? I don't know. Oh, no, it's not. Actually, I could go look at cross references to it, and that would be way smarter, right? So this is actually, this is not format. This is file name. File name. This is line number, and what else was next? This is actual, like I think it's like the message or something. I'm not sure what that is. I have no idea what this last thing is. You know, so, but I don't think it's a char, right? I think that's something else. Anyway, once I've done that, you know, as I come back out, obviously we get those pretty references there. So that function was too big apparently. How many lines are in this function? For my local model. So yeah, you can definitely tell, and I was running a much bigger models than this, or much bigger functions than this previously with Sidekick. So you can tell like the paid server-based infrastructure ones are yeah, significantly more powerful and performant. It could also be a bug because I feel like I've tested this before and it worked a little better. So I'll have to double check this later and see why that's failing. But yeah, Thomas, thanks. There's the changes in 4.0 especially. I didn't even really talk about it because I think the last stream really covered a lot of the features, but 4.0 had tons of stuff. Oh, hey, I'm glad I checked. That was the other one. Yeah, this is really kind of a neat thing. So I just want to mention data renderers are this idea that, so let me cross references. Let's go. Show me the feature map. Let me find like a piece of data, right? So like if I have some random custom data format or whatever, and I've got a type on it, I can actually write my own code to lay it out and render it in some particular way. So that could be like some custom string encoding or something. It could be, even if you had like for, that's a really great one, for like a malware sample, say that there's like this encrypted string, you could actually change the type of it to like, you know, encrypt string, and make that like a custom typed app char star that you have a data renderer for that would automatically call your Python code every time it renders that in the linear view. And so it would like automatically decrypt the string. That's a fun exercise. We should actually do that. So if anybody, yeah, not this week. That's totally what we should do next week. And I'm gonna make a note of my channel before I forget. Because yeah, that's super easy to do. So you can see an example here, which was for like Windows GUIDs. So the idea is that like if you've got just like binary GUIDs in here, we actually built this into the product firsthand. So if you give it the type struct underscore GUID, it will render it like as a proper GUID handling the byte ordering stuff for you, right, automatically. And you can write your own and it's pluggable. So these are really neat. They're super easy and straightforward. You can see that example. It was a blog post on that. Good question, Pino. It does not. If this is used like internally inside, you know, if there's a cross reference to this somewhere, and it's used, where was that one? Yeah, that address is somewhere else too, rack 70. Wherever that variable is used, for example, it does not currently, it only is if you're like browsing the raw data here in like like the data section or whatever, or any other sections. But it's we do have the start of code that would let you do that in linear IL, like in decompilation as well, so that you could actually change how stuff was rendered there for a custom data type too. That's a good question, Joe. I don't know if Peter was on earlier, if he's still here, or if anybody's in the office and can ask him that question. That's one for him because he's done all the work on the data renderers. I don't know if I think doing the Python data renderers is not too bad because this stuff doesn't get done and like it caches kind of just off screen, essentially like just in time, so it's not going to do the whole file necessarily. I think Python's fine. But that's a good question there. Yeah, there are some things that you don't want to implement in Python just for performance reasons. The only reason we re-implemented this in the core was not for the performance reasons. It was more for, it's a feature that like the companion plugin, and it's just like a core feature. Just we wanted to have support for GUIDs where you could just do that like on anything, right? Like I could just hit this, you know, isn't it GUID? Oh, do I have to actually, hold on, let me see. So let's select it. GUIDs are 16, how big are they? I should remember this. Yeah, 16 bytes, right? Oh, and by the way, if you haven't noticed, our linear view intentionally offsets like that based on the original, like because this data variable starts 8 bytes in, it visually aligns it for you. So it's consistent, like start is always over here, which can be a little bit jarring at first, but it's actually super nice. So like if I take, for example, something here and make 16 bytes and make it a struct, um, and then like I change the width, you can see it. Like it aligns it, right, with whatever the columns are consistent. So it can be a little bit annoying to see like why is these things floating in different offsets, but it's actually great because you don't have to look at the exact offset. Like you can kind of intuitively know just because this is like the halfway point. So that's kind of a cool thing. So there's no current like well, okay, there is a plugin. So there's the Ripper plugin that does that. That uses Unicorn specifically, but there's not. I think there are probably better tools for doing that. Yeah, with the idea of like emulate the IL. It's there have been a few other attempts to do it. So this one uses like it's the full-on Unicorn thing. There was a Go deobfuscation blog post a while ago that really did some IL emulation because it was fairly simple. Um, oh, let me see. Oh, Google, stop. Google, I want you to search. So there is actually, yeah, this plugin, which was actually a joint plugin with Jamie from Cryptos Logic, and you can read like their version of it. But he did some string deobfuscation. He like literally just wrote an IL emulator, and it took him very little time because he just took all of these low-level IL operations, like XORs two values, right? Like these are all one-liners in Python, if that. And so the actual plugin, yeah, and there are a few other plugins that can kind of do that. So where is the resulting code? Yeah, here we go. So degobfuscate. This one actually has like an IL emulator in it, and it's like this is the code right here, like for the handle IL subtraction. You just subtract, add, you add two things. Like it's pretty trivial. So this is like a harder, slightly more complicated one dealing with like some registers. But like most of these are very simple, and you can literally use them to just emulate a fair amount of basic IL. So there are a couple plugins to do it, but it's not really a first-class feature yet. It's a good question. Yeah, being able to like rip out code and then run it, like I said, Ripper does that. Although I haven't used it in a while, so I don't know if it's still functional. Sometimes things will bit rot. There's also Usercorn, which is a nice little platform that would be cool to write a little plugin in, meant for running little stubs. Actually, the symbolic execution one, SE Ninja, kind of is similar because it's using symbolic execution to do like virtual memory and address changes, and you can see what these icons render really funny on this preview. It's gonna look fine here, probably, I bet. Oh wait, what? Why were the icons different? Well, that's weird. Huh. I don't know why that got. Oh, they're like right here. They're SVGs or something, I bet, in the README. Totally getting nerd sniped, but yeah, there's gonna be, yeah, okay, that's why. That's doing, oh, so I just go below it and I'll get to the other content? Yeah, I don't know why that truncated there. Something weird rendering with this. Anyway, so SE Ninja can kind of do that too. Like you can sort of emulate, you can start running at a function and it has like a debugger-like interface, but it's not actually doing it. Yeah, yeah. There's another plugin that gets used a lot to like just run a plugin. Isn't it one that Duncan x64dbg wrote? I feel like there's another utility function for like just quickly running like stubbing out a function to be able to get the results. But yeah. All right, well, I'm gonna wrap it up here soon. I'm gonna get going to my conference with my son. If you missed the beginning, I'm actually at a fantasy sci-fi book convention for the Wheel of Time. So, been hanging out in the hotel, and sorry, no face cam, but super glad we got networking working again after that earlier pain at the beginning. Sorry about that. Um, but yeah, thanks everybody for hanging out. I promise to be a little bit more reliable going forward, and especially now that I have my remote streaming set up pretty good, I should be able to, even if I'm traveling, because I've got a fair amount of travel this summer, I should be able to do some streams at different times. So thanks, Kay, I appreciate it. And if anybody is going to be at OffensiveCon or is just in Germany or around and wants to visit, I will be visiting Berlin for a while for that. So I'll be there for the week before the con and even the weekend before that. Uh, oh, Glenn is always doing awesome stuff. I'm curious which stuff. I think he's actually in the chat, Thomas. He was chatting earlier, so he may still be watching. Um, in fact, if you missed it, you may have come up afterwards. He's getting automatic synchronization for types in the type archive system, which is going to be super convenient. So make it a little bit less. I might come to Hexacon. We'll see. I appreciate the offer. Peter is definitely going to be at Hexacon, and some others may not make it out there. We'll see. It's been a lot of travel lately. So we are going to Recon too. So if folks are in Canada, Recon. Also, if we come and ever are near you, come and get stickers. We always have lots of stickers to give away. So, all right. Well, thanks everybody for chilling. Sorry for the early kerfuffles. Had a good time. We'll try to get this routine going again. Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, trains. If you can take trains, are nice. If that's an option for you. So. Yeah, we'll see, folks. You know, I don't have an exact schedule yet, but I should start promising in advance. When I say I've got a stream, I've got to do it. So I usually don't do it until like the day of, just because that way I can change my mind if I want. Had some stuff happen last few weeks where it was nice to be able to take off. But no, of course, Pino, you're welcome to show up at time. And there's also the Binary Ninja Slack, by the way. Just slack.binary.ninja. I know it's not Discord. We set it up a while ago before Discord improved a lot of stuff, but that's where the community is. It's just any random questions. It's a great way to get stuff answered. So, but yeah, hopefully we'll be back online with the actual streaming setup, and we'll be able to get my face cam up and working, and we can even maybe have doggo cam and stuff too if Peter brings his dog in. That was a nice thing we did last time. So. All right, everybody, you can see my awful outro screen. There'll be a little bit of music. I'll leave it up just for a couple of seconds if people want to chat, but it was good hanging out. We'll talk to you later. Bye.